All right, well, we are also going to offer a bar class for 30 minutes. Let's get started. If you're at home, obviously you don't have a bar, what we've set up today is a chair. You could use your chair, you could use the back of a couch, but what I am suggesting is push your chair against the wall. It's gotta be something that's not gonna move. Aim for it to be at least hip height or greater. You're good to go. So let's start with a warm-up. If I position my heels directly under my hips, bring the sides of my feet together, we call this position parallel touching. Lift all 10 toes away from the floor. Now freeze. In this position, you should feel 4 corners of each foot in contact with the floor. One that's beyond each big toe, one that's beyond each pinky toe, and then one on either side of both heels. If those 4 corners of each foot are in contact with the floor, you have your best base of support. Now, simply allow your toes to just float down, and notice your toes are just an extension of balance. You shouldn't feel that your toes grip the floor, but again, they're just that extension of balance. We call this parallel touching. Look down at your feet, separate your big toes roughly a fist distance apart, lift your heels and spiral outward. Now you have created a parallel runway between your feet, so we call this parallel not touching. Once again, lift up all 10 toes, maybe shift left or right, front to back, and feel that those same 4 corners are in contact with the floor. Allow the toes to just float back down for balance. Heels are under hips. Top rib is up. Lift your chest, squeeze your shoulders together and slide them down towards your back pockets. Your chin is horizontal to the floor. Now imagine a string is lifting you up tall. Slide your fingertips down so your palms face your thighs. Inhale, biceps touch sides of cheek, fingertips touch overhead, and exhale. Whether you breathe through your nose, whether you breathe through your mouth, simply breathe. But what you're working on is that long, strong extension where you are truly a straight line from your fingertip traveling all the way down to the heel. So take an inventory now. Are you curving? Are you arching? Is it difficult to get your biceps next to your ears? Use all of that feedback to provide information on what might need a little more attention today in your bar practice. Perfect. Now, reset your posture. Looking left, looking right. Again, as if your chin is on a swivel, on a countertop. Is it easier to look left? Is it easier to look right? Let's make sure that our neck is nice and warm. Coming back to center, drop one ear towards one shoulder, freeze. If this happened, level out. Back to center, and then to your right. Don't let your shoulder lift, don't lead with your chin or your cheek, but imagine your head as a windshield wiper to the wall behind you. Create length. Feel the stretch. You might hear a lot of snap, crackle, pop. Bodies make sounds. That's okay. Now try this. Let's do a half neck roll. Ear to one shoulder, chin to chest. Feel that stretch moving up into the base of the skull, and then go forward into the other side. For me, it's easier. I'm more flexible to this side and a little tighter in that direction, at least today. Come back to center. Shrugs. Draw your shoulders upward. Now, press your shoulders away from your ears. Kind of emphasize that. Drive your shoulders down towards your waistband. I want you to anchor your shoulders to your waistband. That becomes an important cue as we progress. Good. Now come forward, come back. So open your chest, then open your back. Try this. Can you make your knuckles touch in front and behind? Maybe, maybe not. That's okay. It's a working goal. Tells you where you might be more flexible, where you're tighter. It's all information. Fantastic. Reset. Parallel, not touching. I want you to take your left bottom rib, drop it towards your hip. Soft knees, equal weight, all four corners, bottom surface, both feet. Take this right shoulder, just droop forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to in order to touch the floor on the outside edge of your left foot. Swivel to center. Now unroll, restack one vertebrae right on top of the other. Reset. Tip. Tilt. Bend your knees, touch the floor. Swivel center. Unroll and restack. Use the weight and length of your upper body to help stretch, open, lengthen all the vertebrae, and then enjoy the length you're creating in your hamstrings, maybe even waking up your glutes, and settle. All right, press your palms out towards the side walls. I want you to be a straight line, wrist to wrist, shoulder to shoulder. Don't let that collapse. We're trying to create a really solid framework, a rectangular framework in our torso, okay? Shift your body weight to your right foot, lift your left heel, now lift your left knee. Find balance first. So we're gonna work standing balance and strength in the right leg, shoulder over hip over knee over heel. Knee is soft, all four corners of the foot contact the floor without gripping. Challenge yourself, try to lift left knee to the height of the hip. If that's uncomfortable, lower or even just hover the toes over the floor. Now circle through the ankle. Good. And then reverse the direction of the circle. Good. Float it down. Again, lift your chest, shoulders back and down. See how my heel is touching the floor, but toes are up? Now, lift the knee, reach back and try to tuck the toe under. Standing balance and strength on the right, flexibility, mobility, range of motion on the left. Toes up, rolling under. Toes up, good. Give me one more. And reset to center. Equal weight. Heels under hips, chest is up. Create the T. This time, flex. Point your fingertips towards the floor. Open the wrist. Shift your body weight to the left. Right heel up. Right knee up. Are you able to get the knee as high as the hip? And circle through the ankle. How fast or how slow you circle, that's up to you. No wrong speed, no preferred speed. Good. And reverse. For me, this is my better balance and mobility side. Release. Heel down, toes up. Same thing. Try not to let your torso wiggle as you move through the hip, flexing all the way down into the ankle and foot. Very nice. All four corners, left foot, contact with the floor, not gripping. Keep a soft knee, better for balance. Abs are braced and your chest is up so you can breathe. Perfect. Reset. For now, rock and roll on your heels and toes. I did forget to say, shoes off. Or barefoot. I'm wearing a studio sock or a bar sock. That means there are rubberized grips on the bottom surface of the sock. If you're wearing socks and you're on a hard floor, you need to have the grips. If there aren't any grips, take your socks off. Socks will slide. I don't want you to slide. I want you to control your movement. Fantastic. All right. So, I'm going to turn to profile. I want you to just watch this first. Watch my heels. I'm gonna inhale, I'm gonna lift my heels off the floor, connect my arms to my ears, keeping my arms against my ears and heels off the floor. As long as I can, I'm rolling over a barrel. As soon as I need to take my heels down, I glue them to the floor. I look forward with my heels on the ground. I sit into a squat and show my palms to the wall in front of me. So join me on this one. Inhale, lift up. Connect your arms to your ears, heels off the ground. As you exhale, keep the arms against your ears. Roll over the barrel. Heels up, heels up, heels up as long as you can. Take them down, heels down. Drop into the squat. When you're in the squat, I really do need to see your heels down. Everyone's hip line is different. That means everybody's range of motion, depth of squat, is different. And it's different each workout. Rolling over the barrel. Give me one more. And release. Parallel touching, parallel not touching. Draw your heels in together, separate your feet, they make a V. Imagine you have a zipper from your heel all the way up to your belly button. Squeeze your inner thighs together, lift your chest, shoulders back and down. This is ballet foot position 1. We're gonna step out really wide, wider than our shoulders. Ballet foot position 2. If your feet were the hands of a clock, your toes would turn to 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Sink down and rise. What I'm looking for is that you are directing your knee over the middle of your foot. Don't let your knees fall in. It's the outward pressure with your chest up. Good. How low are you sinking? If your hips are above your knees, that's fine. But let's aim for depth without sacrificing knee line. Great way to work into all those muscles that wrap from your inner thighs up around and under your glutes. Fantastic. Step back in. Parallel touching to parallel not touching. All right, rock and roll on your heels and toes for a moment. I'm going to demonstrate something, talk a little bit, then I'm going to invite you to come with me. I want you to see where you're going, then join in. All right, if I were to inhale, connecting my arms to my ears, I'm going to exhale, I'm going to roll over the barrel. I'm going to connect my wrist to my big toe, and I'm going to step back to a plank position. Notice in plank that my shoulders are higher than my hips don't droop, and there's no divot between my shoulder blades. From here, I will step forward and reconnect big toe to wrist. So watch that on tempo. Connect, walk back to plank, reconnect, and rise. Option 2, inhale up, connect, jump back to plank, jump forward to reconnect. I'm going to turn in profile. Let's do that together. Inhale up, roll over the barrel, plank, reconnect, and rise. Let's do 2 more. Do you have to jump? Absolutely not. But I do want you to focus, connect, reconnect. What if that's as far as I can go? Then keep going until you get there. 1 more. Fantastic. All right, so we've gone over foot positions. We've worked on alignment. we're ready to move on to bar. All right, if you're using a chair, make sure it's secure against the wall. You don't want this chair to move while you're moving. Use the back of a couch. If you're outside, use a bench, but again, try to find something that's about hip height. Maybe your bar in your kitchen, that works too, a countertop. You basically need the width, the length of your body. So we're gonna start with high bar. If I'm in parallel, not touching, I can take the back of my left hand to the bar. My right hand, I'm gonna have two options. So if I'm on the bar, my right hand can rest on my waistband, or I can wrap it around the side of my rib cage. If I'm here, chest is open, and I'm starting to engage all the muscles in my upper back. Back of my hand rests on the bar, and I am lifted. All four corners of the surface of your right foot in contact with the floor. Left big toe, touch it to the inside of the right knee. Option, keep the toe on the floor. From here, I'm going to extend from the hip, straighten the knee, bend it. Straight, bend. How do you feel as you kick? Are you pumping it? Do you feel movement in your spine? I only want you to feel movement, hip and knee. Standing nice and tall. Again, standing balance and strength in the left leg. Building a fire in the front of that right thigh. Good. Now let's try this. Extend the leg, touch down, lift up, bend, extend, down, up, reconnect. So it's 4 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Standing tall. Don't grip the floor. Squeeze your glutes. Keep your hip line straight ahead. Notice how I keep the back of the hand balanced on the bar because I'm not gripping and leaning in. That string is still attached, lifting me tall to the ceiling. Good. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Fantastic. We're going to switch sides. Now, I do not have a cameraman, so I'm going to take my bar to the other side. That's not what you're doing at home. You're facing the other side. But again, we're going to pretend that I didn't just do that. All right. Equal weight, all 4 corners. Left hand, right hand, knuckles to waistband or to the side. Top rib up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, stand tall. Toe to knee or toe to floor. Kick, touch, kick, touch. How much length can you create in the front of your thigh from your hip to your knee to your toes? How tall can you stand? Remember, open the chest, chin on the horizontal, top of the head, reaching upward. What if we add the drop, lift, and bend? Extend, drop, lift, bend, extend, drop, lift, bend. As hard as we try, we are not balanced bodies, so you might find you have better standing balance or strength on one side. You might find it easier to keep one leg lifted. One leg might be easier to extend. Do you notice the difference? This is all high bar work that we've done so far because we are higher than the height of our bar. Last one. Perfect. So, I'm gonna move my bar back. Here's where it becomes very important that your bar stays in a safe, non-moving position. We're gonna move into mid-bar. High bar keeps us up. Mid-bar puts us in a position where we are horizontal to the bar. I want you to connect your arms to the sides of your face, okay? That might be, this is where you might find that's what's the hardest part. I can't keep my arms lifted because something feels tight either across my chest or upper back. So that's an opportunity for you for strength training, mobility training for your shoulders and your neck. Now is where we will face the bar. I'm going to demonstrate first. My feet parallel, not touching. I'm going to inhale to lift, create a nice long torso, straight line, fingertips all the way to heels, and on my exhale, I press my hips back so that I'm trying to make a straight line from my heel to my hip, then from my hip to my fingertips. Inhale to lift, exhale as you travel forward. Hips press back, fingertips reach forward. Here's the challenge. Can you keep your arms connected to your ears as you move? Do you feel equal weight, both feet? One more. Now I want you to stay here. Just watch where I'm going first. We're going to shift our weight onto our left foot, slide the right toes back behind you, and then lift the right leg without rolling the hip open, okay? This hip must remain square to the floor, as if there were headlights at your hips pointing straight ahead to your very secure bar, okay? Straight line, fingertip to right heel. Now flex the ankle so the toes point to the floor. We're gonna bend and extend, bend and extend. Take a look at my right thigh. I want to try to keep my right knee as high as my hip and not drop it below the hip. Bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend. So, where are you feeling the most effort? Continue to move. You might find that your standing leg, lower leg, hamstring or glute, they're very active. That's a strong isometric squeeze. As that right leg continues to bend and extend, what's the harder part? Keeping the knee as high as the hip? Or is it the strength demand in the hamstring and glute? I don't know about you, I'm starting to sweat a little. Body weight exercise can be quite a great challenge. And you want to mix in some body weight work so that everything isn't always high weight, high reps, lots of impact and intensity. Bend your knees, hands on your thighs, unroll, restack. Woo. Let's switch sides. So if I reposition again, heels under hips, biceps to ears, we're gonna switch legs. I'm gonna inhale, I'm gonna exhale, use my breath, help me get forward. Now just because I don't coach or continue to coach when to breathe, that just means breathe. Keep your weight on your right foot. Slide your left big toe back behind you. Try to find the horizontal. Again, don't let this hip roll open. It's a blind move. We can't see it. We've got to keep that hip line rolled to the floor. Bend, extend, bend, extend. So this is the harder side for me. The strength demand in my standing leg right now to the hip, the glute, and hamstrings is greater for me than holding the left leg high as I hamstring curl and then leg extension. No wrong answer. Nothing is preferred or better. It's just the feedback that my body is telling me today. This is all mid-bar work. Bend your knees, unroll. Circle through your hips. Circle the other way. Reposition. Circle through your hips, get a little release. Circle the other way. What's been your most challenging element today? Was it the connection in your arms? Was it the length? Was it holding to horizontal? Just knowledge. All right, ballet foot position 2 again. We're gonna stay with our mid-bar work. I want you to sink down, and we're gonna transition a lot of that upper leg, glutes, hip and back work into lower leg work. Don't let your knees fall inward. Remember, it's that outward pressure, sinking low. Turn the back of your hand to face the ceiling. Knuckles to waistband. I really like that wrap because it opens us through our chest, creates some workload through our upper back. We're gonna alternate a heel raise. So we're holding low, and it's okay if you're up here, and if you move a little slower, or if you need to actually hold your bar, that's okay. Pop, pop. So what's happening to the rest of your body? Don't tuck under, don't look down, because that curves us. Instead, tailbone points to the floor, top of the head still on the upward position. Now, I did tell you we're gonna transition some of that load to lower leg, but staying in this low position, you should start to feel all those muscles that wrap all the way around, inner thighs, outer thighs, into glutes and hips. Rise. Good. Which leg feels stronger? Sink down and repeat. Lift, 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 lift. It's really beneficial to do some barefoot work in your week. If you have really good tennis shoes, those tennis shoes are smart. They do a lot of the work for us that our feet don't get to do when we have on those really smart tennis shoes. So barefoot work at least once a week will make you stronger at everything else. Rise. One more round. Reposition. Sink. Pop, 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 pop. Let's try this. Both. Both. Option. Stay with the one. If you feel insecure, you can do both. You can hold. Now for this, it won't matter if the bar is to your left or to your right. Rise. Okay, so we did our warm-up, positioning, heat building, high bar, mid bar. Let's transition to low. So low means we're gonna be below the height of our bar. We're gonna face the bar. We're gonna kneel. What I'd like you to do, take your hands to the floor. If my fingers were to open, my thumbs point to each other, they're only gonna be about 4 to maybe 6 inches apart. I don't want you wide. I want your wrist to line up directly below your shoulder. From this all 4 position, take one leg back. When I lift the other foot and take it back, I don't want to lift up. So if I'm on all 4s and I take one leg back, the space between my chest and the floor, the space between my hips and the floor doesn't change. We are in a low bar position. Take your right foot, step it forward, angle the toes out, bring it back. Take your left foot, step it forward, angle the toes out, and step it back. Try not to pop through your hips, but instead, flat, return, flat, return. When I take that foot forward and angle out, my quads and obliques really have to pull that leg forward. My hamstrings and glutes are going to help me shoot the foot back. Option, work from your knees. But I really want you to open the hip by turning the toes out and working that foot back into a flat position. Upper body weight bearing. Shoulders over wrists. Abs are braced and pulled in tight so your back is supported. Great core training, which is really all those muscles, armpit to hip, front, side, and back, as well as a little more hip mobility. Is it easier to take a foot to the right? Is it easier to take a foot to the left? Or is there no difference? Press back to your heels. Okay. Turn and face me. Take your knees slightly wider than your hip. Reach your right arm up. We're going to try to keep the arm bicep to ear. I'm going to tip and I'm going to try to touch the floor. Left fingertips without sliding backward. Oblique work. Side bend. So as this side compresses, this side lengthens, opens. Remember, keeping your eyes forward and not falling back. If the floor is too far, you don't have to, that's a working goal. You don't have to touch it, but that's your goal. Tip and rise. Tip and rise. I would much rather do core work in any position other than lying on my back, head resting in hands, traditional crunch. This is a lot more functional. Let's do 3 more, and we'll switch sides. 1 more. Good. Let's switch. What was the harder part, reaching the floor or keeping the arm against the ear? If you felt the tendency to roll back or collapse forward, here's one of the secrets. Keep your eyes forward. As they travel down, your tailbone's gonna tuck under. Keep your glutes squeezed in tight. Tip. For me, much easier to go this way. At least today, at least right now. Use your breath to help you move. So what I mean when I say that is exhale when it takes the most of your effort. For me, that's when it's harder. You might find it's harder on the rise. Let your breath assist your motion. Bar, Pilates, yoga, flexible strength, body flow, CX Works, strong and lean. Lots of classes on the Arena Club schedule designed to make you fitter, stronger, more functional athletes. Fantastic. Rotate. Push your hips back, let them come through. Push your hips back, let them come through. All low bar work. So we're going to transition to seated. Okay. Heels are on the ground, toes are up, feet parallel, not touching. The space between your feet is equal to the space between your knees. Chest is up. Arms are on the horizontal. So my arms are not going to lift and lower, but instead I'm going to roll back. I'm going to touch my waistband to the floor. My chin tucks a little bit to my chest. Without lifting my feet off the floor, my arms are sliding. Imagine the pinky edge of your hand as a saw. Rolling back to my waistband, rolling back up. If you find that as you go back, your feet lift up, you've gone too far. Find kind of that tipping point. If If I get to here and my feet are coming up, that's as far as I go today. And over time, maybe instead of my waistband, I can reach my bra strap. Keeping your eyes on the horizontal, not up towards the ceiling. Eyes are straight ahead. Shoulders are out of your ears. Slicing through with your arms. If I want to make it harder, I can externally rotate, pull my palms, face them upward, thumbs back, and I can sweep them out, letting my bra strap, bottom edge of my shoulder blades touch the floor, eyes are still forward, and I bring them together, pinky edge. So now, by taking my arms away from my midline, it makes my upper body a little harder, takes a little more effort. Try to work the same speed, like don't get to a point and heave ho. Equal pace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opening, closing. So the farther my hands get away from each other, the greater the load. You can always stay right there. Let's try 3 more. 3, 2, 1 more. Perfect. I have one last low bar work for you. Wrist under shoulder. Now feet are flat. Again, parallel, not touching distance. Parallel, not touching distance between my knees. My fingertips are going to point the same direction that I'm facing. Lift your hips. Now, try to lift to tabletop. Your chin can now lift from your chest. So basically, my vision is forward and up. Tuck chin to chest, have a seat. Lift. Shoulders as high as knees. Alternate 2 kicks, tuck chin to chest, have a seat. So we're doing a little bit of a tricep press, some bridge work to lift off the ground. Squeeze your glutes. Keep your chest and hips high. Have a seat. Lifting up. 2 kicks. Have a seat. Where is the greater challenge? Is it in the triceps and shoulders as you lift? Last 8 and you're done. Lift up. This would be a good complement, maybe after the hip workout, after the Zumba. Maybe it's how you want to start your day. Maybe it's how you want to end your day. I am so grateful that the club is doing this for all of us. Last 3. 3. 2. And 1. Up. 2 kicks and release. All right, my friends, there is our bar workout for the day. Loop it in with all of your other activities. Get outside. Thanks for spending your time with me. I appreciate it. Bye.